all right, I need a break.
A break from what? Me?
Everything. Well, I haven't seen you in a while anyway, so not really, but just everything. Not necessarily this, just a
Imagine
break.
if we did just have a break,
A break, as in,
like just like with the podcast stuff.
I feel like we generally have a break anyway.
No, like maybe we're not gonna do like 4 recordings. You know, that's 8 weeks. That's 2 months.
Wait, 4 recordings, so no podcast for like.
Yeah, just imagine. We wouldn't see each other for like half a year.
I feel like that's bullshit because I'm still your friend.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure how that would
Sorry,
fare.
break from everything.
Yeah,
right?
maybe. I don't know. It's just been a little stressful. Got my mind on things, doing things, got work.
What are you stressed about?
Great question. Time things, like time sensitive stuff, rolling into the new semester, things I need to improve on, work on. Maybe certain things aren't how I'd like them to be, so I'm trying to improve on that. And of course, this podcast, trying to improve that as well.
No, I understand. So do you just feel like you don't have enough time?
It's not yes, but this past week I have had a lot of time and I did not accomplish a lot. So it would be realigning myself with what I need to be doing and ways to actually pursue that sort of stuff, and ways to not overwhelm myself doing those things.
Mm-hmm.
So consistency for longevity and just keeping things easy, but progress. So trying to find that, as well as sort out my values in a lot of situations and, my actions going forward in different places and stuff like that. So,
I've been going through that same thing.
oh yeah, a lot.
But honestly, I've gone back into like a little slump, little depression,
Oh yeah.
and I've been on TikTok a little more.
But too much. Yeah, you sent me a TikTok.
A little bit more.
You never send me a TikTok, and you sent me a
little bit
TikTok.
more.
Yeah.
It was a lot of. I don't even remember what I was gonna say. It was kind of kind of relating how I felt at the time, and just, I guess, taking breaks and uncovering more of my mental illnesses.
Or just realizing that, I don't have everything all figured out. I've been pushing some stuff off.
Yeah, and one of them was actually just life advice. That just pretty much said that they wish that someone told them that the 20s are more of just a workshop period, and the 30s are what actually try and get you somewhere. So
Yeah.
like your 20s are just like you trying to figure stuff out.
Just learning.
Yeah. And I know very heavily on this society, it's very, hey, you need to have this shit figured out by the time you get out of high school.
Like now
Yeah.
type thing. Yeah.
So I've just learned to just chill out a lot. Like a lot. Excuse me.
Chill out in what way? Because chill out people could take that in
That's true.
different ways. Like, do you mean chill out as in, be a little more lazy? Chill out as in less energy? Chill out, you know what I mean? Like,
So for me, as you know, I am quite the workaholic, and I always like to do one thing right after the other.
mm-hmm.
This is the first time in my life where I've actually given myself periods of times to do things, and then if I don't get all those things done within that amount of time, it's no big deal. I can just carry it on the next day and then work from that.
That is really strange to hear from you.
Because usually I'm like very stressed about
Yeah.
crunching in all my time. but I've just learned to just do what I can do and then just chill out, just be a little lazier, do what I want to do. Maybe I want to play a little bit, an hour of a video game, or just watch 2 episodes of a show. Just that type of thing. And it's been really nice. I've been going outside more, and it's been good. I want to say they're more mental breaks for me, and I really do enjoy those.
So has that pushed you forward at all, do you feel? Or is it right now you're just giving yourself a break? So is it something you could do long term, or is it you're just kind of chilling out right now?
Well, right now I'm really just chilling out right now. However, I am slowly adding on more and more stuff when I'm more comfortable with it, because I haven't been the best at eating this last month and a half, 2 months, but I'm slowly picking back up on that. And so now I want to add in another thing, just like exercising again. I haven't exercised in a while either, so I want to go ahead and push that in, fix my sleep schedule, just because I am getting more comfortable with how I manage my time and being more accepting of what I can do and how much I can do. That way I can still give myself a mental break and not, just explode later because of all the anxiety and stress that I had from not finishing those things within that day.
Yeah. And that, I've heard that kind of fall under the do less than you think you can do.
Yes.
Do less, because generally individuals tend to overdo it or think they could do more than they can. And that's a category I fall under every single goddamn day. I break out the list. I'm like, I'm going to do this today, that today, this today, that today. And it'll be this hour I'm going to accomplish, researching this hour I'm going to work out, and right after I'm going to eat, and then right after I'll work on this other thing, and then right after I'll switch to, and then only like 2 of those things get done, and almost none of them are on time, and it just ends up
it's
being
funny.
a mess and just being stressed about everything else.
So in my calendar app on my iPhone, I actually have blocked schedules as just more of, I've been working on thinking of it not as a strict schedule, but more of like a block, just building blocks about my day. So like around this time I should be doing this.
Yeah.
And around this time I should be doing this. And if I can get that done within a shorter amount of time, that's just more of a break. Like, hey, I can take a break before I do this other thing. And it's been really nice.
So how do you use a calendar? Because I've never. All right.
Okay. No, so
it's okay. I kind of know how to use I know how to use a calendar, but how have you gotten yourself into the mode of using a calendar? Because I've spent years since high school, because we were supposed to keep a calendar, and in college I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. Like when I first got in college, I was like, I'm gonna do it right this time, and it's always been effed up. Like I've always effed it up. So what's kind of how do you make it easy for you?
So from the moment I wake up, I already have something that I am supposed to be doing, and I get to it because I want to do it. And if I get done sooner, I can either work on the next thing, or I can just take a break and then work on the next thing, type of thing. So for my calendar, it's a little unrealistic right now.
6 a.m. workout.
Yeah.
Don't you wake up at 9?
Yeah, currently I wake up. We're getting there.
Okay.
Just a month ago, I was waking up at like 2.
I will say, if you take out, which it's good that you have food in there, but if you like take out like food, that's 1, 2, 3.
I have an eating disorder.
I'm just trying to hold on. The actual number of things that you have on there is actually kind of small, and especially like a lot of these things are maintenance. Like if I may say, like workout, that's like a maintenance thing, or maybe to you it's not maintenance right now and you're trying to get back in it, But for me, that would be a maintenance thing. Like self-journal, that's a maintenance
I
thing.
also have just they're different colors, so it's more just like the blue ones are for my personal stuff, like the, just basic things.
But there's only like 2 or 3 actual things where it looks like you're gonna have to try, like put your mind to it, and to have the whole day, even though you have blocked out chunks of time, to have the whole day and be like, I only need to work on this stuff, like two things.
Yeah, I actually have a separate thing on that too.
Oh, you do?
It's a different app with a bunch of tasks for like a day. I haven't been keeping up on it.
So is that like tasks per the block?
It's tasks per day. So like if you wake up and you think of, oh, I need to do something, just put it down. You'll get to it, type of thing. And with the way I'm working my calendar now, is, I can still get all this stuff done, and I'll most likely have more time than I have because I overblock it.
Oh, so brilliant. So brilliant.
So
You're doing exactly what... Wow.
I overblock it, so if I get done early, I can do other stuff.
So you don't have to...
Yeah.
You're not like in a pinch, like, oh my God, I have to get this. And then right after that, oh man, I have no time to take a nap or anything.
I'm not really constraining myself in a hard limit time frame. So I just have been liking it a lot better. I've been more realistic about goals and taking good breaks.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Tell me about your breaks. Like, what do you...
Like I said, I just spending a lot of time with Ashley and just really going out for walks whenever we can, just hanging out, watching movies. I normally don't watch movies.
Yeah.
Or like, I watched my first K-drama with her.
Oh God.
Like, it's just things I normally wouldn't do that I am doing again, and it's just kind of nice because I'm not worrying about all these other things and getting them done because I already know I put my fair share of effort into doing those things.
So you've just kind of minimized what you have to accomplish during the day, and so then you'll actually accomplish that stuff, and you'll have time to, not be stressed, like let loose a little bit.
Exactly.
Enjoy yourself.
I think that's why the whole TikTok thing and having your 20s as a workshop period makes me feel a lot better about myself, because I've been spending so long of just trying to get stuff done as soon as possible and just being hard on myself, like extra hard on myself for not meeting those expectations I had for myself that were already too high.
That's so brilliant. And I feel like an idiot because I've been doing that with working out. Like I've been consistently working out 3 to 6 days, depending on how you look at working out or exercise, 3 to 6 days a week for the past year and a half, maybe more, something like that. And the way I ended up doing it was kind of the exact way you're talking about it. I lessened the expectation for myself, kind of went in with some sort of plan to hit those things, but if I didn't hit it, I wasn't too worried. The goal was to get a little bit done, if anything, and one thing I've heard is it's more detrimental to stop and take a step back than it is to inch a slight bit forward. Like when you take steps back, those are like leaps, but over time, incremental step forward, that will cover a lot of ground in the long run. So, I mean, it's weird that I've applied kind of that concept to working out, but not other things.
That is weird.
So
that's funny though.
God damn. Yeah. So if one couldn't tell, we're just kind of talking about mental breaks today. And just because, I don't know, like Usa said before, and how I'm feeling now, it's just a little overrun, a little overwhelmed. So one thing I wanted to say is, how do you know that you need a break? Meaning that like you are overwhelmed. How do you know you're overwhelmed, overworked, burned out?
I would say what's true for me is I'm not honest with my feelings.
So when you're lying to yourself, you're not.
No, it's more just like, someone comes up to you, hey, how are you? And you just say, I'm fine.
And so when you lie to other people, that's how you know
Yeah.
things aren't okay.
Just like, yeah, I'm not feeling the best, but I'm fine.
Okay. That's a good mark.
I learned that today.
Today?
Well, I mean, like, I always knew it was a thing, but it was very, like, apparent today.
It was brought to the surface, kind of like put in your face, like, I'm never going to forget this now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For me, one of the biggest things is I start getting cynical about all my situations in work and stuff like that. So if I'm at work, I'm just like, ugh, I have to be here. Ugh, I have to do this task. And then out of work, I don't even want to do the things I like to do. Like, oh my God, I got to work out again. Or, oh man, I have to eat. I have to make food, and just conversation. Oh, I got to talk to a person. Oh, I have to, and everything just gets really like cynical, and like I get very negative about a lot more things. So when I start reacting negatively to things, that is a sign for sure for me that I'm doing too much and I need a break. That, and I start putting things off that are easy and simple, and I just avoid them and do something else, or do tasks that don't really matter. So.
Yeah. No, I totally understand.
Yeah, no, so that's, I have a couple written down that I looked up. Like, when you are falling through commitment, that's another sign you're overworking yourself. Let's see, start avoiding things. Exhaustion, when you just feel like a slug going through every day, when you're not enjoying your life, even when things are hard, if you're not enjoying your life, then you might be overworking yourself and you might need a break. So what does a break mean to you?
For me, I feel like breaks are just more overall just kind of mental breaks, because even if you're tired physically, your mind can still be like, nah, you're fine.
Yeah.
But so definitely more mental breaks for me is what I feel, just because you mentally, you're stable, unstable, you're feeling good, you're not feeling good. It just all goes back to how you are mentally, and how I don't know what word I'm looking for. But yeah.
Yeah. So for me, a rest would be, or a mental break for me is rest. And rest doesn't necessarily mean stopping what you're doing. And that's something I found, especially in recent days, it was very obvious. Like, I kind of knew it, but for some reason this past week, I totally forgot that when you just completely stop doing something, it creates a vacuum that gets filled by things you don't necessarily enjoy or want. It could be filled with negativity or negative things. So when you rest, you don't necessarily stop. You just really lower intensity. And that could be physically. If you need a break physically, don't just stop, running, working out, things like that. Just lower your intensity. Just do a couple of sets. Just do a lighter weight, but still get moving. Because it still acts as a placeholder without tiring you out. Because when you just simply take things out all of a sudden, things will fill that area. And it's always something, it's something positive.
Yeah.
It's bad habits that come back or something like that. And so that was something I heard, and something I practice that somehow I forgot this past couple of weeks, that, maybe, okay, don't just quit doing things because it'll make you quit other things and give you bad habits. Just do a little bit. Just do a little bit of what you're doing and be happy with it. And that's something you spoke about earlier.
Definitely.
Yeah. And another thing with mental breaks to help you along is, reduce things that pull your attention in many different ways at the same time. And that sounds weird, but things that scatter your attention.
So it's like kind of like being spread out.
Yeah. So minimize things that spread you out, such as we all kind of have a lot of things going on, but also our phones and our tech, they are grabbing our attention. That's what they're made to do. That's how people sell advertisement. That's how they, you got texts always buzzing, updates on social media. Even when you're on like a web page, advertisements, you scroll through YouTube, you have clickbait, and you're always like, oh my God, what do I do next? And it's almost anxiety inducing, honestly. But there are just so many options, and a way to give yourself a break mentally would be to cut out high intensity things and also things that scatter. So, okay, maybe I'm not gonna, go on the internet while I'm taking a break. Maybe I'm not gonna look at my phone. Maybe I'll put my phone away and I'll just see what is around me, or go on a walk, or things like that. That there's just not a lot pulling for your attention. So when you're taking a break, is social media and that sort of stuff, surfing YouTube, part of taking a break for you? And could that be good? Where is it like a benefit or a detriment?
So for me, it's more of a 50-50, because I do like just being out and about, but that generally doesn't happen too often. But yeah, I definitely go to some sort of form of social media online for breaks, just because it's different from what I was doing before.
Because I always feel like I get caught in stuff, and then I end up wasting time and being too focused on that sort of stuff. That could personally be me. I don't know about you.
I get bored with social media very fast. So
Yeah.
I'm always from one thing to another.
So for you, it's the switching from thing to thing that helps kind of give you a break.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like even TikTok doesn't do it for me. I get bored of TikTok after like 2-3 videos. I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, I feel that. Although for some reason I keep going. Maybe it's addiction. Maybe I'm addicted to TikTok. Another thing I heard for mental breaks is almost like a meditation. But when you hear meditation, what do you think of?
Well, I mean, if
What do you think of?
meditation, letting your mind unfold.
So what does that look like? What does that sound like?
What does that mean?
What does it look like? If there's a scene and it's like USA, what do you look like when you're meditating?
Looking at clouds, looking at cars go by, staring off into nothing.
Yeah, see, that's an idea a lot of people have, and that could be a type of meditation. Another thing I heard was, meditation isn't necessarily mindlessness, but it is a focus, and just kind of a deep focus in something where everything else doesn't matter except for what you're focusing on. So that is also a meditation.
Yeah.
So a practice for mental breaks and relaxation is to meditate in that manner, with maybe creating something or working on something. Now, this something isn't going to pull, crazy amounts of brain power to do, but it'll give you this just focus where nothing else matters except for that.
You said that was like deep meditation, right?
It could be.
Deeper?
I mean, I don't know any levels of this.
Because,
I think it's a different type.
What I went over was the whole point of the unfolding your thoughts is letting your brain just do what it wants to do naturally, and then just really just letting the thought pass until you have no more, until you get to a place of pretty much a deeper type of meditation.
What does that feel like? Have you reached it? Because I think I kind of know what that feels like. That's so hard to describe. Like you just, things kind of go by and you feel outside of your mind, if that makes any sense.
Pretty much.
Like I always equate it to like tapping the home button on your phone and like all the applications are zoomed out and you could just swipe them. That's what it feels like, is you kind of see everything. And they just,
definitely.
What?
I don't remember what I was going to say because of that.
Sorry.
No, you're good. No, sorry, continue.
No, but I mean, that's another meditation. I haven't looked enough into meditation. Maybe that's something we should check out sometime, and maybe do a podcast on just our discoveries with meditation and like different levels, because apparently that goes crazy far. But just the meditation I was talking about is your focus on something, and it's not like a brain pulling, like it's heavy, exhausting type focus. It's a different focus where the only thing that matters is what's in front of you or what you're doing. Like if you're fixing something, if you're drawing something, if that can be relaxing. And once you really get into something like that, like say drawing, once you really get into the pen strokes and you don't care about anything else. I always remember in school, in like a drawing class, it'd always be hard for me to sit down and draw at home. But that class was just a time where, okay, it's time to draw. And maybe, the first day is figuring out what you're going to draw. But after that, you just walk in, you get your work, and all you are is just focused on your drawing. And say you're drawing a flower. One day, like, we were doing stippling. I was stippling a flower, and my entire focus for that day was a couple petals for like an hour and a half. And nothing else was going through my head. Nothing about school, nothing about my life. Nothing else was going through my head except for the spacing on the dots, how big the dots were supposed to be, and just referencing the picture. And that was very pure and honestly relaxing. It was very nice. And it was weird because then when you come back, like when you stop doing that, all of a sudden everything floods back into your head. Like, oh, I got this class and now I got to worry about this homework. Now I got this going on.
Would it just be more of just like being in the present and just focusing on that?
It's just the focus of one particular thing, so much so that you forget everything else. And that's, I guess, is a type of meditation.
Oh, yeah. So, something I actually saw from a video actually said that if you have like this negative connotation about yourself, like, you're bad, if you say it really quick, or just one word really quick, like bad, it would start to sound weird after saying it
over and over
again at a fast speed, and you would start focusing on maybe your mouth is starting to get tired, or it sounds weird, or it's this or it's that, and you're not really associating bad with yourself or something else. And I thought that was interesting because that was pretty much giving yourself a mental break, because at that point, instead of being harsh on yourself, you're just like, it was just
it's something else entirely.
Like another word, another word. There's nothing really important about it. There are actually other breaks that he also had, and so one of them was the meditation and contemplation. It's pretty much what I kind of already said. Another way is to give your mind a name.
That broke my concentration.
Thanks, guys. You're the best.
Yeah, you hit a button.
Funny. That was funny.
That was surprising. Okay, yeah. Give your mind a name, you say?
Yeah. So this person giving a presentation named his George. But it's pretty much having George pretty much speak to you from like it's just a way to become more distant from yourself and what's happening. So if say you're thinking all these thoughts, but George is just like, hey, wait, I know what you're thinking, but let's be a little realistic. They're just, those don't matter. They're just words. You keep doing you. And I thought that was interesting. So, you can give your mind a name. You can sing all your negative thoughts and difficulties. Yeah.
I mean, I get that. I don't think, the 7 people in my house will enjoy.
Well, this is just like kind of your own time.
Yeah, I got you. Maybe in my car on the way somewhere.
Because at that point, it's just reminding you, hey, it's not a big deal. You're singing about it. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal.
So it's pretty much just letting yourself know that things aren't as difficult as they are.
Slow down, stop before it gets worse.
Yeah.
Because of these reasons. Repeating words rapidly, like using the word bad, or I know a lot of people have done milk. Have you ever done that?
Milk?
Where you just said milk a lot?
Milk? No.
Okay.
I feel like that was the thing, though. I vaguely remember hearing milk a lot at one point.
Okay, well, if you would like to participate in this,
okay.
For 30 seconds, you just say milk as fast as you can.
I don't like that.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know if I want to do that.
Okay, you don't have to. What about a different word?
Milk. I don't want to say it fast for some reason. I'll like say milk repeatedly, but as fast as I can.
I mean, take your time so you don't like stumble on the word.
All right. First off, what am I supposed to focus on in this? Do I just
keep saying milk?
Do I have to have 30 seconds?
You can do 20.
Milk. Am I done yet?
Yeah. Okay, so when you think milk, I should have said this before. When you think milk, you think of milk, right? But when you kept saying that, did your focus go on to thinking about actual milk, or was it just the word?
It was like milk splashing down to the rhythm, and then that K at the end was very prominent. So in my mind, it was like milk falling like this, like milk,
Okay,
and then the K was very prominent. It was almost like a spacer between the K.
Got it.
So it was like splash, splash.
But yeah, so you're more focused on the word, how it's pronounced. Did you like notice physically, like were you getting tired of saying it?
I wasn't necessarily getting tired. It felt like a rhythm. I was wondering if I could like start tapping along like.
Okay, well, with most people.
Well, okay. I feel like after a while I would get tired.
No,
I'm not.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But
I don't think I did it for long enough to feel that fatigue.
Yeah, so that was the repetition of word.
What was the point of that again?
It was pretty much just taking your focus off from one thing to another thing.
I guess I was focused on, even though it wasn't necessarily the fatigue that I was focused on, it was something separate from, is if someone were to say milk in a conversation and then my thoughts surrounding that. I did only think about the splash and then the K, and that was repeated in kind of that rhythm. So I guess that still works.
But yeah, so there's that, and there's using different voices. You ever give your voice a different
Ew. Give myself a different voice.
Yeah, like your head voice.
Yeah, that's difficult because sometimes I don't have a mental voice. Sometimes I have a very loud
Really?
mental voice.
Oh, okay.
So it's
But
I generally think more in images and like video snippets
Mhm.
and like objects.
so would you just picture someone talking to you in your head? Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Okay, well, okay. So it's pretty much just giving a voice to the voice in your head. So you can just picture like a cartoon character saying it to you.
I wish I could repeat.
And that's another thing that's just like, oh, it's not a big deal.
It's gonna annoy the shit out of me because the first voice I thought was like one of those annoying cartoon voices, and I wonder if that's gonna stick around for a while.
Okay. And then there's labeling yourself at like a young age. So pretty much, say you ever have a magnifying glass and you just torture bugs, light.
No, but I've heard it happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's pretty much like, say you do that and you're just like, oh, I'm a mean person, and then that just kind of stuck with you for the rest of your life. So it's gonna, and then from that, maybe it stems off to like being harder and harder on yourself. Like it's getting harder to be able to live a livable life, or you're just really struggling, really. What a way he said to go ahead and stop yourself from doing that, since it goes back to so far back when you're younger, is to imagine yourself as young as you possibly can. Leave in all the details. Think about what you're wearing, think about your hair, think about everything about you as you were a kid, and then put those words into their mouth and then have them say it to you. Wouldn't that be devastating?
Yes, but also
kind of funny.
Well, because I'm just hearing like a kid going like me going like, you're a piece of shit. I'd be like, oh, I'm the piece of shit. Like,
Okay, but
like fuck you, kid. Like,
I'm talking about like just like very harsher things.
but I guess what you're saying, like,
Okay, so I guess it depends on like what you're saying, because if it was something very serious,
okay, give me something very serious to think about me saying to myself.
well, it's just more of just like suicidal things and like threatening.
That'd be weird to have a kid telling me that shit.
It's very, I want to say it's kind of different depending on the person, just because I could never imagine myself saying those things to me.
I would,
and I would just laugh.
Given how I know myself and how I knew myself then, even though like it would be in character and out of character at the same time. Like I know I would have a capability of saying that type of shit, but when I was a kid, I wouldn't know any of that. And
that's true.
Me knowing myself saying that, I would have no idea what I'm talking about. I probably heard it somewhere, and I would know that, and I would just be like, that's a very odd thing for a child to say, or be like, wow, okay, asshole. Like, I don't know, but
yeah,
but I could see how that might be hurtful, like you saying something devastating to yourself, like, oh damn.
But this was all from Dr. Stephen Hayes.
Why does that sound familiar?
Who did I watched a TED Talk.
Another one? Jesus Christ.
No, I'm just saying all that was from that TED Talk.
Really?
And in the very beginning, he made a saying with his 30 years of research, and it just goes by: learn it in 1, derive it in 2, put into networks, and then change what you do for the 4th one. So the top 3 lines, minus the change what you can do, is how your brain goes into a problem solving mode. So the way he described it was, say this right here. Well, what is this? If you're like younger and you're trying to like learn, like you're a toddler, they don't know what it is, but they'll learn to do it. And that's the problem solving mode that they get into. And it's pretty much the same thing with doing, keeping mental breaks. Just when it's too much, you need to keep yourself in check type of thing. And your problem solving skills can't go into that, because once the mind perceives something, it doesn't necessarily have an outlet to go away. So if someone, say when your friends when you were younger lied to you about something, like, and it felt like you were really betrayed, that doesn't really have an outlet. And he compared it to having a calculator without a minus button or a division button. You're only adding things to yourself. So I thought that was
stressful.
Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. And because of that, you need to change it, which was what we were pretty much talking about in, having those breaks, or like stopping yourself from overthinking all those things. And I just thought it was really interesting because, I never thought of it as it only goes in. You can't unlearn something. Like, even if you were...
I think you can unlearn something, but the difficulty is to an extreme degree.
Yes. So he described it as, you may, even if you forgot, you'd still learn it at a rapid pace because it's still in there somewhere. So it's pretty much, in psychology itself, there's no process called unlearning. And I just thought that was just very interesting.
That is kind of interesting. It just makes me think about like the processes to go through. Like, once you identify something, like what you kind of have to have a toolbox, and you kind of have to have some sort of, I want to say, procedure or protocol, for lack of a better word. When things start to kind of break down, or when you identify something that's, not great, or something that's starting to get to you. And it's something good to have in the toolkit, So one other thing I would really like to talk about with mental breaks is just one very specific thing that's so helpful, at least for me, is when you have a mental break, when you are going to take a mental break, doing something physical can add to that mental break. Now, if it's too intense, it'll, pull usage of a lot of neurons, and it might not be as much of a mental break, but something physical could certainly help you out. And that goes with exercise, some form of exercise in some way. I mean, they've done so many studies and research with exercise, and it's one of the single best things you could do besides sleep. Mm-hmm. I think someone said if you could put exercise into a pill form, it would be number one seller. Everyone would be making bank off of it. So, and exercise it has a lot of antidepressive effects. It makes you feel good. It can bolster motivation and then reward centers in the brain. So the reason why you need to take the break could be cleared by exercise, so you can go further.
And just to clarify real quick, when you say exercise, is it any level of exercise?
It's physical activity.
Something as simple as just a walk around down the street?
I think that it's included. Yeah. Okay. The only thing is, what I've heard is, if you are doing intense things, say you're trying to max out, you're going to need a break after that, because, movement does require, your brain and your neurons and such. When you do things like that, it actually takes a lot of mental power too. So although it could be helpful in one aspect, like a release after something, you may still need to take a break some sort of break after you exercise as well. So it could be just one of those things where you're shifting what kind of break you're taking. Like maybe mentally you're just like stressed as hell and you need to lift a shit ton. You need to get that out. And that way you can get a more manageable break at the end. Like you'll be able to handle, you know, physical fatigue from the physical easier than trying to work through stress just by thought and such.
The reason why I just kind of brought that up was because I know some people have their different thoughts on exercising, really. So just as simple as just walking down the street and walking back to your house is, you know, still exercise. You're still getting your blood moving and it's still helping. And I don't want it to be necessarily put under the strenuous work that a lot of people make it
going to the gym. And because when people hear exercise, they're like, oh, I'm gonna have to put forth so much effort. But I mean, the reason why this like exercise works, I mean, you can put forth a lot of effort, but you know, it's just helping you in other ways. It's releasing a lot of, you know, hormones and such, a lot of good things into your system. And it's just one of those things where, you know, just a little bit goes such a long way. And days where I'm like lazy all day, I don't even get up for walks or anything. Those are some of my worst days. And I can't imagine, you know, how many people, I mean, that's there every day. And to me, that's sad. It's like you're missing out on something that's really great, you know? So that's just one thing I want to put out there. Just movement, get moving a little bit. And that can help you. That can give you a release, give you a break.
Man, even stretching in the morning. Oh my gosh. That's enough movement for the whole day.
I don't necessarily like stretch, like, you know, sit down for 10 or something like that. But I do a lot of like the moving around, like
just like dynamic
spine and just kind of shifting a lot. And that's
nice.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, that will get you just ready for the whole day.
I feel like there's certainly a reason why you wake up and automatically you feel like you should be doing that. There's probably a reason for that. I mean, exercise though, it helps with motivation and reward centers in the brain. So it can also help you, you know, work better.
Yeah.
So you can work through things better, enjoy it better. So maybe you won't need a break per se as often, you know, things like that. Or maybe you'll just enjoy everything a lot more. So, I mean, that's pretty much what I got on mental breaks.
That's all I got too.
Now, the biggest thing is applying this shit to myself, especially right now, because the things you've been telling me about the calendar and all these things, like how you should speak to yourself, kind of that mindfulness.
Yeah.
I feel like you brought up a lot more being mindful of your own mind and just awareness. And then also just not going hard on yourself and giving yourself time. Just, incremental steps forward instead of leaps backward, you know?
Yeah. Throughout this journey of being more mindful, it definitely has to do with a lot more emotions and how to, I guess, understand what you're feeling, which has been very difficult for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult for a lot of people, so you're not the only one.
But yeah, just so keeping that all in mind, that's what I found to work for me. So
nice. All right. Well, I guess with that, I'd say let us know how you relax, how you kind of chill out, how you take mental breaks. And then also, if you got an idea for some sort of topic, something that seems interesting that we might be interested in, shoot it in the comments on YouTube and we'll check those out. We'll look into it and maybe it'll be a topic on our podcast. I mean, thank you for listening. Honestly, we're approaching like a year
Yeah.
Yeah. So those few who are listening right now, hey, thank you. And hopefully we will grow larger and more listeners and maybe build some sort of community off of it. I don't know.
Be exciting,
nice.
we gotta update that.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much to do. Oh, the anxiety. Just bit by bit. I mean, we didn't plan on being crazy from the get-go, so maybe it'll happen over time.
Definitely.
But all right, with that, I guess,
Yep, that's it.
I'm gonna let you go.
Bye.
Bye.